Thank you for staying with us. Let's begin with developmental issues. The vision to make Lagos a veritable mega city is on course. The state governor, Babajide, has completed the purchase of 2 high-speed trains for Lagos Red Line Rail. Now, Governor Sanwo-Olu was in the United States to complete the purchase of the trains. Let's share the story with you.
To your point, each car has a computer. Each car senses temperature. Each car will start load sharing as soon as you lose the batteries. Okay, let's head back.
Actually, this is massive. In the history of this country, I've never seen a state taking up this kind of initiative. I know it's a federal government thing that look, but this Lagos is going to be, as a trailblazing state, will be the first state to ever embark on this Red Line and Blue Line project.
Yes, and I recall that when the state government wanted to raise funds, foreign loan, for this project, the then administration of Goodluck Jonathan tried to frustrate the government because Lagos State is not a sovereign. So if you are taking an external loan, the federal government would get involved and it can frustrate it. So they tried at that time, but the administration, the incumbent administration, was also persistent, and in the end, Lagos was allowed to look for the facility that it needed, because this is a highly capital-intensive project.
Honestly.
It is governments, sovereigns, that do projects the size of this one. Lagos has already shown that it is like a sovereign on its own. Lagos is more prosperous than many countries in Africa. That is a fact. Lagos is incomparable. And I'm happy that in my lifetime, because Metro Line, we tried to get Metro Line during Jakonde's time, but it was frustrated. This one, in our lifetime, it has pleased God that it is coming our way. You can see how beautiful it is, and it's a high-speed train. That is what we want. This is development, and I thank God for the initiators of this project and for the people who have taken it further. Government is a continuum. You can imagine if the Buhari regime left the Abuja Kaduna train at the stage it was. Would we be using it now? Won't the bandits be killing more people? So this is the thing, and the state deserves recommendation for even locating an opportunity that this thing was there.
Honestly.
You know, they were politicizing it in the US, and here was Lagos State government sneaking in like a thief in the night and exploiting that opportunity.
Mojeed, if you get to places like O'Hare Airport, they will tell you that you follow the red line. From red line, you cross over to the blue line. And as Jide is saying, that in our lifetime, that we can find this. And if you see the work in progress, the bridges that will accommodate the traffic.
And the rest.
Yeah, It's a good development from the Lagos State government. And like Jay said, the project started, the blue line started in 2010 during, I think, Fashola's administration. A lot of bureaucracy. But here we are today. The one Sanwo-Olu launched last year was the red line, but he has promised to complete the two together. The red line is a 37-kilometer train system that has
Lagos.
that has 8 stops, and it will run from Marina, from Oyinbo to Marina to Agbado. That's the red line.
I won't just
That's the border with
myself
Ogun State.
Yes.
Now,
and it's going to be moving at 330 kilometers per hour.
Wow.
You can imagine
if they break that into 3, it's still fast enough.
Wow.
for us.
Yeah, no, you can imagine going on 100 meters on Lagos Ibadan, the new Lagos Ibadan expressway, where we now do in I think we do it in 60 minutes, 70 minutes now. Now, the blue line is 27.5 kilometers, and that one too runs from I think Marina to Okokomaiko.
That was the first one.
That's the first one. That's the blue line.
Marina to Okokomaiko. That's after Lasu.
Yes. So you can see those trains we are looking at. And I was seeing some posts on some social media yesterday that it is an old equipment that they have gone to. I mean, why are we like this in this country? We are looking at this.
We look at everything from political.
And the governor of the chief executive of that.
We are looking at this train now. They are saying this is refurbished.
The
loss, can you be looking at this kind of thing
the loss to their state in America is the gain of West Africa. It's not even talking. It's the gain of West Africa, because by the time this comes here, this will be moving about 800,000 people per day.
800,000
people per day.
It's development.
So you can imagine 330. You can see the way those trains move in the US now. Before you know it, pim. I mean, you are where you are. So this is quite commendable for the Sanwo-Olu administration.
I look at the.
I can't wait to see this cabin.
This is the real deal.
Yeah, that is it. We can see.
Evander Holyfield called himself the real deal.
The real deal.
This is the real
thing, and I think kudos to the Sanwo-Olu. It will become another tourist attraction by the time it arrives.
It's another thing for you to start something. It's another thing for somebody to execute and
that's where we have to commend this administration. This namesake of mine, because this is the way we are.
Oh, okay. It's your namesake.
This namesake of mine came in.
The way you adopted
came in. He just came. Let me focus on completing projects.
We didn't start new projects.
That is the same attitude that Buhari has. Buhari didn't start Lagos Ibadan. They are taking it up to a point. Especially, in fact, they've done tremendous work talking about Shagamu to Ibadan. He took it over. He wants to finish it now. Buhari didn't start the second Niger bridge. He took it over. He's going to complete
it. That's the right
Buhari
attitude.
didn't start Abuja, Kaduna rail. In fact, they've gone more than 95%. He took it over. They are buying more coaches. That is development. Somebody
took the Agege bridge at about 30-40%.
Yes, that's the way it should be. Politicians agonize about who will succeed them because they don't want their projects abandoned. Now, we've seen there was no movement on this project for 4 years.
There
was no movement. That is a fact.
Between 2015 and 2019.
But my namesake got there and did the right thing. And that is why we are happy. And you know, no noise making, quietly went there, perfected the deal, and we are seeing reality by way of pictures.
I think congratulations to the people of Lagos State.
You see, Eko ne baje, that is what they say. Lagos will continue to be #1. Because when people see developments like this and there are opportunities, even in that foreign footage, they were talking about job opportunities.
Yeah,
of course.
You know, so this will create jobs for people and boost the economy. It's as simple as that.
All right.
And what have you.
Moving on now. One of the factors adduced for endless banditry and other security threats ravaging Nigeria is the proliferation of arms. Katsina State Command of the Nigerian Police said it recovered 109 anti-aircraft munition and arrested 999 suspects in various operations across the states in 2021. The police spokesman in that state, Gambo Issa, stated that the command also recovered various arms like 4 GPMG, 44 AK-47 rifles, 20 locally made guns, and 689 rounds of munition, among others. There's fire on the mountain.
There is.
There's fire on the mountain. For this one to be recovered in Katsina State alone. 109 anti-aircraft munition.
A lot would have passed, undetected. That is where I see a lot of danger. When you bear in mind the fact that bandits shot down an Alpha jet, Nigerian Air Force Alpha jet, in this Dansadao area last year. Boko Haram terrorists shot down another jet in the, I think they said Konduga or somewhere, but I'm not so sure. But they said Konduga local government, which is one of the largest local government in Nigeria. That should tell you that when terrorists or bandits get hold of weapons like this, no one is safe. Terrorists can shoot down passenger plane with anti-aircraft guns. If they can get hold of guns that can fire anti-aircraft shells, because sometimes they don't have the right guns that will give you accuracy. But if they can get hold of the ones that can give them accuracy, because some anti-aircraft guns can go as far as 30,000 meters. That means no one is safe.
It will be targeting any object. It will be targeting
some of them is this heat that they target. So the heat emanating from the exhaust of the aircraft is what the missile will be following. But these are different. These ones are different. If it's anti-tank, anti-aircraft missiles, it must not even get into the hands of terrorists. Because if, for example, terrorists get hold of the Stinger missile, shoulder launched, they can bring down any plane. So we've got to find out, where do they get these weapons? How do we deny them access to these weapons?
This is trouble. This is non-state.
The porous borders, we need to do something about them. And don't forget what the national auditor said about some weapons that got missing from the armory of the police. And the man is suggesting that they should investigate and put some policemen on trial. That quantum of weapons should not get lost from the inventory of the police of any nation, and heads will not roll. We've got to do something, because when they get missing, it's talking about 178,459 different types of arms and ammunition getting lost from police armory.
How?
This is huge.
How?
So how are we sure that some of these weapons have not fallen into? He said out of this number, 88,078 were AK-47 rifles. 88,000.
Yeah.
From police. 3,907 were assaulted rifles and pistols from different police formations. Some of these weapons could be in the hands of these people.
Mojeed, not to even talk about general purpose machine gun, GPMG. I'm alarmed.
No, I was going to talk about the GPMG, the one you just mentioned. This particular one can perform different combat functions. It can fire different NATO cartridges. I mean, from 7.62 to 0.55 mm. So it's not just
deployed.
Yeah, like the ones we saw on the screen. I mean, and they are very easy to manipulate. So you can imagine 4 of these in the hands of those characters. Yeah, those ones.
Boko Haram uses them.
It can, I mean, it can adapt to any of these, at least 3 or 4 of the sizes of these cartridges. So you can imagine these ones, getting to the hands of those characters. That's that the 27-year-old Efan Terrible in Toji.
Turji.
That is a task that they should take seriously.
No, they have those boys have AA too.
They have anti aircraft ammunition. So you can see that we are in dire straits. And I was watching your documentary on
Sunday.
Yeah, on Sunday, and I'm quite impressed with the caliber of ammunition at the disposal of the military. But we still need more, and we need to investigate how these ammunitions are getting to the hands of these bandits.
Because that's what I want to ask now. That if missing those ones that were missing from the warehouse of Nigerian police, that should be investigated.
Because there's too many.
How?
88,000 AK-47.
88,000.
It's unbelievable. Can you imagine 88,000
there are
AK-47
things that
out
I
there?
read about in my country. Sometimes I ask myself, is this fiction? Because we're talking about 88,000. No, it's not 1,000.
Like an army, you are running an army now. It has 88,000.
What's the strength of our police?
What's the strength of the police?
400,000.
That means weapons. Weapons. If we were to give each policeman a rifle, which is not practicable.
Like
some of them are traffic warden and the rest.
Maybe one
that
quarter
means
of them will
about
not
a quarter of weapons meant for the police
are out there.
Are already missing. That's what the Auditor General of the Federation has said. It's scary. Can we now see why there is this level of unprecedented level of insecurity? Can we now see? Because insecurity, the major oxygen for insecurity is availability of weapons. If you don't have a weapon, you and I are like mates. But the one who has a gun, you have to give him that respect, because he can take your life anytime. So as long as terrorists and bandits have access to weapons, they will continue to feel.
That's the facility you see the ads.
You see them brandishing GPMG now and rounds of ammunition. And when they carry that their guns, it's a full round that is inside the chamber.
And some will even rule it.
They will have those ones.
Yes, now because they have it in abundance. Why would they be afraid of anybody?
And they use it at random.
By the
time they start shelling, who can stand distance slots?
No. We want to do say pistols.
We need more intelligence gathering to be able to locate where they are, and that's why a combination with the locals will do us a lot of good in making sure that we get to the root of all these matters. And how can 88,000 rifles be missing and the person in charge of the army?
It's a national scandal.
I'm telling you.
It's ridiculous.
It's a national scandal.
And this coming from the Auditor General of the Federation, calls for a lot of complaints.
That means they conducted some this thing, checks of their own and discovered.
I've done an inventory,
it's too much.
Rather unfortunate.
It's too much. Elsewhere, I'm telling you, by now, heads will be rolling.
Honestly.
But in our country, things happen, we just allow it to run like that. We want to copy America. But do you think this kind of thing can happen in America and heads won't already be rolling? We are selective about what we want to copy from America.
There's this speculation that even policemen, they eat a bit hamburgers and this.
Didn't we see it during Anene saga? Was it not a deputy commissioner of police also that was involved, that was giving them weapons? You know,
And
we have not forgotten.
And is even far. What of the captain that went to release the kidnappers that were arrested by Abubakar?
And you know, the direct question is people giving weapons for people.
So
that uncle was conniving with kidnappers. This one was the one supplying Anene and his team weapons. When you finish, you return. That's what they were doing.
Deputy no,
and ultimately they were
Commissioner of Police.
Yes, and ultimately they were executed together. And I know that has not ended though. Some of these people sell weapons to bandits. They sell even their bullets.
They are still there.
You know,
in our different.
You should call for a thorough probe. 88,000
information.
All right, we'll take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. Welcome back. This is journalist Hangout, and I see how Babajide Kolade-Otitoju in the studio and Mojeed Jamiu. The planned removal of subsidy on fuel has pitched organized labor against the federal government. To this end, the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) has begun mobilization for protest rallies across the country against the planned removal and hike in pump price of petrol, with commencement date set for 27th of January. Meanwhile, former head of state, retired General Abdulsalami Abubakar, has warned against increase in pump price of petrol. General Abdulsalami Abubakar said Nigerians can't afford 302 naira per litre of petrol. MJ, let me start from you. This thing just came, although it has been denied, but yesterday the speculation was all over 302. But ultimately, if the federal government still goes ahead to remove subsidy, we're just talking about, you know, something relative. It will still get to this. That is if the federal government.
No, it's unfortunate that we still have to be discussing this removal of a subsidy. If any government is thinking of removing any subsidy, even with the level of inflation and level of hardship in this country, then it will be so ungodly, so sinful, so inhumane. I mean, I don't know what other adjective to use. I mean, we don't need an Abdulsalami to caution us that we should leave it as it is, or that government should. Okay, what would we be benefiting from the government if at 162 naira per litre we can see the cost of transportation, the cost of rent, housing, everything has skyrocketed. If you add just 10 naira, don't even let us go to the 302. That's almost 100% increment. Who is thinking of that? Fine, we are not saying you should not deregulate, but petroleum is so critical to the existence of all our existence in Nigeria that, I mean, we can't even afford to joke about talking of any increment for now. Yeah, we say oil is inching close to 85 naira per barrel, the crude oil. But we can use part of the savings to benchmark, to subsidize the product, the refined products. In the first instance, it is because we lack a maintenance culture. That is why our refineries are not working. If we are refining, locally, yeah, if we are refining locally, what other countries that has crude oil, what they do is to do an exchange. You give crude oil in exchange for the refined products. By that, you now subsidize the product for the consumption of your citizenry, so that by the OPEC gives you a particular band that you can produce, that you can sell in the international market. But I mean, they are not saying you should not use a particular quantity for local refinery. But because our refineries are not working, now we keep importing, and some people are benefiting from it. And now some characters are telling us that we consume up to 1 million barrels, 1 million liters of crude oil per day.
100,000 liters.
100,000 liters.
102 million liters.
we don't even know how many liters we consume. At a point about 2 years ago, it was just 40 million. How did it suddenly jump? How did we suddenly jump from 40 million to 102 million barrels?
The catch-22 situation here is that a lot of people agree that, look, we should do away with this subsidy.
Yes.
And it has been there since when? Now, at the same time, a lot of people don't agree with the increment in prices. Because I don't know, if we are to do away with subsidy, it will increase. It will definitely not be it will affect everything in our life.
Of course. It's a choice that we have to make. If you look at how much we spend subsidizing, according to us, petrol, you will not want the subsidy regime to continue, because that money can actually go into providing tremendous infrastructure for us as a nation. You can't be spending that kind of money on subsidy, and we know that a lot of it, there's no transparency in a lot of accountability. You know, you saw I've always said that it is not possible for us to consume up to 102 million liters a day. Now we saw the Senate president saying yesterday that he does not believe that we consume that much. So maybe people will call Ahmad Lawan a whaler now. Because once you say the truth, the default mode of the inbred person is to call you a
whaler.
So maybe the Senate president is a whaler.
You know? Mr. Femi Adesina.
Yes. You know? And he is himself a whaler.
So let's just let's show the mobilization of the Nigerian Labour Congress here.
Ahead of the mass protest scheduled to hold on January 27, 2022, we can say that preparations are in top gear as the Nigerian Labour Congress and the civil society organizations are in a closed-door meeting here in Lagos, Nigeria. From observation, the national president of the Nigerian Labour Congress is actually attending a meeting and addressing workers. And from the look of things, we can say that mobilization has commenced, and it will take place. The protest will take place across all the states except the FCT.
They have made pronouncement clearly that by February there will be a hike in the price of PMS. I think the National Economic Council proposed about 302 naira, and the Minister of Finance came also openly to make pronouncement about the policy. And therefore we are saying that we reject that policy because it's going to inflict more hardship on Nigerians, particularly those on fixed wages and even those in the informal sector.
As he said, the action is actually intended to halt the intended hike in price of petrol. So this is a caution action. You may call it warning, but it's a protest that is actually geared in stopping government from taking undue policy action against Nigerians.
We're not doing mass protests for looking for solidarity on something that is impacting some other people. Then you can be called a busybody. It's an action we're doing for ourselves.
This is just a warning protest. But if the government fails and the government, have to go ahead and implement this wicked policy and wicked policy, then we will mobilize Nigerians, we will mobilize everybody, and then it's going to be a total shutdown until the government refers back to the old order.
Recently, the president of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria says is not against the removal of fuel subsidy if it's going to yield positive results. TUC is a counterpart of the Nigerian Labour Congress, but according to reports, there is a National Executive Council meeting which will be held very soon, and that will determine the next line of action. Sharon Ijason, TVC News.
Difficult situation.
See, yes. we are spending $1.5 billion on, I don't know, $1.69 billion on the turnaround maintenance of refineries. and they say it will take 44 months. Now, how much does a brand new refinery cost? I mean, we don't need a gigantic refinery, but that again, and that refinery is like, it's like you trying to remodel a 1970 Peugeot. Honestly, that thing should be, they should be left alone, and we think of a new one.
Trying to turn a ladder into a Ferrari.
Honestly, yeah, a ladder or a Volkswagen Passat, a 1984 Volkswagen Passat. You want to turn it to Camry 2022 model. You bust the engine. so that's what they are attempting to do with that refinery.
And the refineries have refused to produce anything.
Anything.
I'll keep paying people.
Some years back, the Katsina refinery, that is supposed to be one of our most modern, produced only 50 million liters of petrol. It refined only 50 million liters in a whole year.
Not
Not
even
even
enough
for
one day.
Consumption in a day.
Yes.
by their
calculation.
That a lot of us disagree with. That means all that they did for a whole year, and people take salaries in those places. So collecting salaries, extortionate salaries.
Yeah.
Extortionate. My word. My emphasis. Extortionate. The kind of salaries that people in other sectors do not earn.
They have a specialized salary for the export.
If Nigeria was a private enterprise, will it be run in this manner?
Honest.
Won't people run it in a way that is profitable? Will people agree to carry dead weights if it was a private enterprise? Because we are just subsidizing. We are spending money on dead woods.
Honestly,
Things that will yield nothing at the end of it. In the last 5 years, what have we gained from those refineries? And we continue to pump money into those refineries. At the time when they were going to buy them, when Dangote and others wanted to buy them, we use emotions to stop the sale.
Honestly.
So what have we gained now? Unit petrol at that time, they wanted to buy. We use emotions to stop it.
Okay, I have Ruben from Lagos. Thank you for joining us, Ruben.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Ruben, go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Ruben.
Yeah, I really want to speak to Mr. Babajide.
Okay, Jide is here.
Good evening, Mr. Babajide.
Good evening, my man.
Yes, good evening, sir. Yeah, I'm calling from Ikorodu, Ajegule.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yes, and I really want to talk to Mr. Babajide because this fuel subsidy issue, I think we are being sabotaged.
By who?
Hello? Is Ruben still there?
It's gone.
Yes.
Please
Who
continue.
is sabotaging
Mr.
us?
Babajide,
Huh?
please, I want you to exercise that effort you put in the area of fighting terrorism in the East.
He's picking his words. He's listening to himself.
Okay, Ruben.
Can you hear me?
Just
from what I can pick.
Just
Ruben
round
is-
up quickly. Round up. We don't have all the
Okay,
time.
okay. Yeah, that effort you put in fighting about terrorism in the East, can you a fight and journalistic investigate
investigate
this fuel matter?
Okay.
Okay.
I get you.
Please, sir.
I
Please,
get
sir.
you. You know, that industry, there's a lot of falsehood going on in that industry. In 2016, when we were having fuel scarcity, a lot of Nigerians have forgotten that we once had fuel scarcity around 2017, 2016.
Yeah.
They do not forget. They've clearly forgotten.
We
were not being told the truth until the Senate organized something like a town hall meeting where all stakeholders in the industry now came to talk face to face. It was at that point that the marketers now said, okay, All of these things that you are denying, you don't want the world to know that there is a decline in the quantum of petrol that you supply into the Nigerian market. From your schedule, supply tapered down from so month to so month.
Yeah.
That was the period of the scarcity. But they were lying to us that, oh, Nigerians were the ones holding petroleum
and diverting.
I conducted research, went to some of those
tank farms
and discovered that some of them did not even have supply. We are in a nation where people prefer to lie to the rest of us, and they will find willing and able people to magnify their lies. This is what we are facing.
We are not sincere.
It is not in that sector. There is a lot of deceit, and I'm happy that someone of the stature of the Senate President has already said, look, I've said that thing repeatedly. Now the Senate President has also said the same thing.
It's not possible.
The only way it's possible is if there has been a tremendous quantum of prosperity between the Jonathan years and now, because I know that towards the end of the Jonathan regime, it was hovering between 27 million to 30 million.
30.
So suddenly we are now on 102.
At a point it got to about 40 million.
So now we are being told that
the
rate at which people were buying cars at that time has
even more than doubled.
Tripled.
Yeah, almost tripled. Yeah.
That can be investigation at the level of licensing office.
Honestly.
I mean, this kind of things, they are easy to prove.
Very easy to prove.
Actually, at the end of the day, General Abdulsalami is saying that, look, this is not, we can't just afford to go on strike, and Nigerians cannot afford this 302 naira per litre. Just imagine what it's to public transport. My brothers from the east, when they went to their hometown, and some were saying that to get to Onitsha, as much as 15,000 naira, 20,000 naira.
See, the issue is we need an audit of what is going on in that industry. I mean, a forensic audit to at least for us to know how many liters of fuel that we consume on a daily basis.
Exactly.
Not just for them to be throwing figures.
Nobody will ask questions.
Yes.
And
these things are easy to do.
Smuggling activities, contribute to this.
What is the volume that is being smuggled? What is the volume?
Okay, go to Niger. What is even the per capita, the GDP of Niger Republic?
Niger is even
all of the cars that they have.
It's not up to the vehicles we have in Lagos.
Oh, Lagos is too much. All of the cars that they have in Niger Republic, people in Kanu have more than that.
Oh.
So where do these things go to?
Where is the 102 million going to?
What should you do now? Should you tell the neighbor not to go on strike?
Well,
or
if there's any,
not to remove to increase
it's difficult. I've asked myself.
Most of these subsidy money to go into some private pockets.
Yes, for the fact that this subsidy money is just being stolen, I do not want the subsidy regime to continue. But at the same time, you ask yourself, if this thing goes to, now petrol, crude oil is now approaching 85, which is the highest since like 2014.
Yeah.
So the higher it is in the international market, the more you pay for it here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it could even, when people talk about 300, it could even be 400.
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
400 naira per liter.
Yes, it depends on the price over there. So the question I'm asking myself is, if it gets to that point, can Nigerians cope? People are already struggling.
Even at 162, 165. We are
even local food that we produce, and we beat our chest about, they are very expensive.
Yeah. Jide, I eat Orobo a lot, bitter cola. Now, what I used to buy for 2,500 naira is now 20,000, and I was wondering.
Bitter cola.
Orobo,
bitter cola, yes.
Of what is?
I said, come. Are they using crude oil to grow it or what?
From
2,500 has gone up.
4 liters, 20K.
Okay, and finally, more drama are unfolding in the legal battle between the federal government and the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. In the latest legal twist, his counsel, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, said Kanu has never denied being the leader of IPOB. Ejiofor explained that the clarification became necessary because of what he described as deliberate misrepresentation and wrong narratives being perpetrated by some mischief maker. What is this about?
Oh, I'm sure social media, you may have seen some stories mocking Kanu that he said he does not belong to IPOB. You know, we are unable to attend the trial. So if one of the lawyers come out to say this is what transpired during the trial, people will then accept it as the gospel truth because you have no access. You know, you have no access to cover. Even journalists too, they will tell them to stay outside and all that. You know, so it is when the lawyers come out that they will now tell you what transpired, what are they doing next and all that. So the guy is saying that he denied that IPOB was a terrorist group. Of course he's going to deny that IPOB was a terrorist group. Of course he's going to tell the court that he was never involved in terrorist activity. You understand? But that is different from saying I don't belong to IPOB. You can't be leader of IPOB and say you don't belong to IPOB. That is the point that the lawyer is making, that no, he never said he does not belong to IPOB. He is saying that that IPOB is not a terrorist organization. He denies that IPOB is a terrorist organization. Denying that IPOB is a terrorist organization is different from denying that he belonged to IPOB. That is what Ejiofor is saying. Because, and they are smart. If you are denied a group for which people have laid down their lives for you, you know what it means. Oh, the whole struggle, the morale will be very low. The whole struggle will have been compromised in the views of his followers. So they are also conscious of how how the perception that people will have of not just Nnamdi himself, but the group. If the person who formed it can go to court and say, no, I do not belong to IPOB. What is been clarified now that he never said so, that he only said that IPOB is not a terrorist organization.
You know, this kind of games do come up, especially from the prosecuting counsel. At times, some judges even look at public perception, media perception, to arrive at certain conclusions. So that's why Ejiofor, Ifeanyi, the counsel to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, quickly came out to clarify that issue. I mean, as rightly pointed out by Babajide. And I think it was Shuaibu Labaran Magaji that addressed the press. I mean, that's the from the office of the Directorate of Public Prosecution, who stood in for the lead attorney for the federal government, who made that statement. I mean, the video went viral, and that's why they had to quickly come out to, I mean, explain, I mean, like they said, that come. I mean, if you ask me, am I a terrorist? I'm not a terrorist. Then are you, do you belong to IPOB? Say yes, but IPOB has been categorized as a terrorist organization, and it's telling them no. But then the Ejiofor even said the clarification of IPOB as a terrorist organization is even being challenged at the appellate level. Yes. So that there was no time his client made any such pronouncement to deny his membership or leadership of IPOB. And you can see Kanu is having a time of his. I mean, look at his Fendi, his Fendi designer suit. He's enjoying himself.
His skin is glowing.
Glowing, and he's having a time of his life. I mean, he's enjoying all the fun. He's getting more publicity than even when he was away. So I think the government should have a political way of ending this matter, because in the whole of the Southeast, since Tuesday and yesterday, It was a sit at home. Everything was shut down.
Any day they are bringing him to court,
Yes.
and the people will obey.
So the things were, the whole activities everywhere was shut down Tuesday and yesterday. So I think the earliest we bring a closure to this.
That was what the judge suggested yesterday.
Even if Nnamdi Kanu, even if he's agitating and, you know, what he's agitating for is not valid. As in, you know, people will not support him. But in a situation whereby what is on ground allude to the fact that, look, equity, fair treatment, justice is not, is not being encouraged by this administration. This will just compound what is in their psyche that, look, we don't belong here.
Well, but in my view, the East belongs in Nigeria. The East is an integral part of our country, and the East needs to fight for its rights within the Nigerian Federation. Fight for its rights within the Nigerian Federation. And you see, I believe that leaders from the East too must also try to hone their skills in terms of building bridges across the Niger. Because this is the way it is. If you are not going to get some of what you deserve by not playing the right politics. So I believe that there is no need for the East to break out of Nigeria. And I also believe that some of the demands, some of the issues that are brought up, these agitations, need to be addressed. They need to be addressed. For example, someone said that since 1999, they have not produced even a president and even deputy. Have you? So these issues need to be addressed. To make them feel that they belong within the Nigerian Federation. It's not everyone who supports what Kanu is doing. Many of them believe that this is where they belong, and they've made good money here. They've been prosperous here in our country. The future can be better in Abuja and other places. The future can be better if their leaders play the right politics, and if they encourage such good leaders to build bridges across the Niger. So yes, that way they can still get what they want instead of going to war, instead of this thing. So
because somebody is saying that 2023, that is not even looking like the permutation on ground that the major political parties are ready to even field somebody from the East as presidential candidate.
Yeah, you see,
they don't also have the voting strength. That is
playing the kind of politics that the Southwest plays. The Southwest understands that you can't go it alone as a zone, especially the Southwest, Southeast, and South-South. There's no way we can go it alone. So you need to get that politics right. You need that collaboration, and we must be able to trust each other. I mean, without that, it will be difficult to do. It's only the North that can say, yes, we want to go it alone.
They can't even go it alone.
They can't even go it alone.
Buhari tried to go it alone.
Yes. He ended up getting to it. So there has to be a fusion between at least two geopolitical zones before you can get it.
And they are already disadvantaged because of their low, they don't have that voting strength.
You know? It's the least in all the geopolitical
All right.
zones.
Alhaji Mojeed, Jamiu, thank you for your contribution today.
Thank you.
And BQ, thank you for always being there. And that's our package today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11, and don't forget to join us on Sunday for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. This is between 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. You don't want to miss it. Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Ozubakum. See you on Sunday.